Hello there, you're tuned into 7Edition this Saturday. I'm Helena Krishnamurthy. These are the headlines. BN expected to win Cameron Highlands by-election. Finance Minister confirms announcement on ECRL project to be made next week. And fears rise for hundreds still unaccounted for in Brazil dam disaster. We begin tonight's bulletin with this story. An 84-year-old senior citizen was found dead, believed to have been hit with a pry bar during a robbery at his house in Kelantan. The incident took place at about 5 a.m. at Kampung Cap Remau in Tanah Merah. The victim, known as Hamid Mat Saleh, was found in a pool of blood in front of his room with wounds to his left wrist and the back of his head.
Mengikut jiran ni dia dikejutkan oleh inilah minta pertolongan, minta bantu dalam lebih kuranglah tu 5 pagi. Susulan pada tu jiran ni kejutkan anak dia yang call polis tu. Kita syaki mungkin lukanya disebabkan oleh hentakan daripada kuku kambing tersebut. Itu kita syak je lah. Walau macam mana pun kita akan buat siasatan lebih lanjut lagi.
Initial investigation found that nothing was missing from the house. The senior citizen sold some grocery items at his house and lived alone. The case is investigated under Section 302 of the Penal Code for murder. Police are currently searching for the suspect, who is still at large. In Kelantan, 3 people were killed while another person was seriously injured when the car they were travelling in skidded in a culvert near Lubuk Jong, Rantau Panjang early this morning. The victims, who were in a Perdua Maiwi, were headed to Pasir Mas when the accident occurred at 2:10 a.m. District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Abdullah Muhammad Pias said all 3 died on the spot at Jalan Rantau Panjang to Pasir Mas. The dead have been identified as Muhammad Zainal Zainuddin, aged 33, Muhammad Zakaria Zainuddin, 22, and Muhammad Shadza Muhammad Saleh, 23. A 4th passenger, 22-year-old Muhammad Shakirim Hafizi Muhammad Shamsuddin, suffered severe injuries and was rushed to the University Science Malaysia Hospital for treatment. The driver, Muhammad Zainal, was believed to have lost control of the vehicle, which skidded to the road shoulder before plunging into the culvert. 7 firemen from the Pasir Mas Fire and Rescue Station were deployed to the scene and took 20 minutes to extricate the victims from the badly damaged vehicle. The case is being investigated under the Road Transport Act. Close to 30% of the 22.6 million foreign tourists who entered Malaysia last year were found to have overstayed in this country. Deputy Home Minister Datuk Muhammad Aziz said these tourists mainly enter the country using social visit passes, and they are believed to be still in the country despite the expired passes.
Ya, ini di antara perkara juga yang kita ambil kira. Sebab itu saya sebutkan tadi, pihak immigration perlu melihat bukan saja dari segi aspek dokumen dia, tapi dari segi sudut keselamatan juga kita perlu ambil kira. Kita tidak mahu orang-orang ini datang ke sini dengan membawa elemen-elemen yang boleh menjejaskan keselamatan negara kita.
He said other offences by foreign tourists included fraudulent student status, damaged passports and passports that were nearing the expiration date. According to Dato' Aziz, a total of 85,946 foreigners were served with the not to land NTL notice due to various reasons, including not having return tickets, no hotel accommodation, as well as having insufficient funds for their stay in the country. Indonesian citizens had the highest number of NTL notices with 43,870 people, followed by China and India at 12,853 and 8,119 people respectively. Meanwhile, in Selangor, 8 Indonesian women who were employed as GROs were picked up by police for abusing their social visit passes. An anti-vice operation at an entertainment outlet in Petaling Jaya early today. Police also detained 2 Bangladeshi men who also worked at the outlet. Some of the GROs, mostly aged between 24 and 34, did not possess valid travel documents. In the operation, police also confiscated liquor and cash during the raid. All 10 individuals held were taken to the Petaling Jaya Police Headquarters for further action. The case is being probed under the Customs Act and Immigration Act. Cases of violence against women in the country are at a worrying level. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail said this was based on police statistics, which has shown an increase with a total of 4,963 cases of domestic violence involving women reported between January and November last year alone. Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah, who is also the Women, Family and Community Development Minister, revealed the matter at the state-level Santuni Rakyat program at the Angsana Mall in Johor Bahru earlier today. She added the ministry, through the Women Development Department, would continue to organize special programs to address violence against women. However, all parties must also cooperate with the government to ensure the success of such programs aimed at enhancing public awareness on the social problem. This includes the Talian Kasih 15999 hotline initiative, meant to help victims and third parties get the help, including for other social problems such as child abuse, domestic violence and teenage pregnancy, which are also on the rise.
Pada tahun 2018, sejumlah 651 permohonan bantuan telah diterima melalui talian ini yang membabitkan penderaan kanak-kanak dan keganasan rumah tangga.
In her speech, she also stressed that the government is concerned about the welfare of housewives, particularly the less fortunate, and have taken the necessary steps to ensure that their social security is taken care of. Up until December 31st, a total of 63,132 women nationwide had registered for the Suri Incentive or I-Suri Voluntary Contribution Scheme, while 25,674 women who were not eligible for the I-Suri had registered for the I-Saran Voluntary Retirement Contribution Scheme. An official announcement on the East Coast Rail Link ECRL project is expected to be made sometime next week. In announcing this today, Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng said that as far as the project was concerned, he was acting under the instruction of the Prime Minister and the Cabinet. The Finance Minister said this when responding to a statement by the Economic Affairs Minister, Datuk Sri Muhammad Azmin Ali, earlier in the day, that the Cabinet had in the Thursday meeting decided to cancel the ECRL project after concluding that the cost to develop the project was too high and the Malaysian government could not afford it now, as the interest would come up to 500 million ringgit.
Datuk Sri Azmin was not in the last Cabinet meeting, so I'm acting under the instructions of Tun and the Cabinet. I think a statement will be issued next week.
So, any decision on this project?
So, a statement will be issued, if necessary, next week. Okay. As I said, I'm having under instructions from Tun. Satu lagi ialah berkaitan dengan, I wouldn't say that Datuk Sri Azmin wasn't in the Cabinet meeting. What I meant was that he wasn't privy to the decision made by Tun. So
he said this after launching the 37th World Customs Day in Kuala Lumpur today. Lim also said he was shocked with Datuk Sri Azmin's statement. The 688-kilometre project was expected to be completed in 2024 at a final cost of 81 billion ringgit.
Melalui bandar-bandar utama di Pahang, Terengganu.
On to the Cameron Highlands parliamentary seat by-election, the 5th after the 14th general election last year. According to unofficial results from the Election Commission, Barisan Nasional BN candidate Ramli Muhammad Noor has won the Cameron Highlands by-election. For the first time, the EC is also providing live poll coverage via Facebook Live, including the vote tallying and result announcement. For more on this, we are joined by our reporter, Tunku Nasrul Tunku Abaida, who is very closely following the updates there. Nasrul, how about the voter turnout this time, as it appeared to be better than the 4 other by-elections that we saw since May last year?
Thank you, Helena. Yes, the BN managed to recapture the Pahang parliamentary seat. According to unofficial result, the BN candidate had 11,617 votes, and Pakatan Harapan candidate M. Manugarin 7,048 votes, while independent candidate Salahuddin Abi Talib had 283 votes, and Wong Sing Yi had 188 votes. And according to the unofficial figures, it looks like BN won the seat with a total of 4,569 vote of majority. At the moment, EC Chairman Azhar Azizan Harun present here, waiting for the announcement of the official result. Helena. Yes, Helena. In fact, the voter turnout has already 15% at the first hour after polling station opened at 8 a.m. The Election Commission EC had projected the turnout to touch the 70% mark. And for the record, in the 14th general election last year, this constituency saw a voter turnout of 79%. As for the 4 by-election last year, we saw Sungai Kandis in Selangor having 49.8%, Sri Setia 44%, and Balakong 42%, while in Negeri Sembilan Port Dickson P parliamentary seat by-election, it was 58.3%. Helena.
Thanks for that, Nasrul. Now, Nasrul, was there any incident during the voting earlier?
Helena, the voting process today was generally smooth according to the EC. However, there was a minor incident in which the EC has had told PH candidate M. Manugarin to leave the polling station at SK Senderut. This was after he was spotted wearing a shirt bearing the coalition's logo inside the polling station. Photograph of Manugarin wearing the white shirt of Pakatan while inside the voting center also posted on social media and was widely circulated. However, the PH candidate later has apologized to all parties for donning the shirt, adding that it was not intended. I think that's all from me. In Tanah Rata, Cameron Highland. Back to you, Helena.
Thank you. That was Tunku Nasrul Tunku Abaida, live from the official vote tallying centre in Cameron Highlands. Coming up, Malaysian artist gets called out by netizens for his racist caption. Details next. Welcome back. Now let's head over to our daily segment Clickbait for what's trending in the cyber world today. Now, waiting for your turn in a queue can be tiring and boring, for it might seem like the longest wait of our lives. At times, you feel tempted to yell at the person at the counter to be a little faster, but that could also sometimes backfire, like this recent case at a clinic in Jinjang Kapong last Tuesday.
An elderly lady who had been waiting in line for more than 2 hours approached one of the staffs and asked him when her turn was. To her surprise and everyone else's, the staff flew into a temper and told her that if she could not wait, she should leave. Another male patient who saw the incident quickly got up and advised the staff to calm down. But things just got worse when the two walked out and the staff can be seen shoving the Good Samaritan. Luckily, other patients and staff quickly rushed to break up the fight before it turned violent. The case has been reported to the management, and apparently the staff said he was under a lot of stress and pressure at the time of the incident. He has been transferred to another department, and the clinic said they will send him for counselling.
Living in a multicultural country, it is important for the people to respect other races and cultures. However, a well-known artist landed in hot water over a racist caption in his Instagram post recently. This was when the local celebrity posted a picture of himself and used the N-word in the post. Let's take a look. Malaysians were quick to recognize the racial slur as a screen capture of the post was shared on Twitter by a user, and it went viral with thousands of retweets with netizens expressing their disappointment towards the artist. The singer later realized the grave mistake he has made and quickly re-edited the caption in his post. However, this sparked more angry responses from netizens who saw his action as an attempt to cover up his mistake, while many were demanding the artist to admit his fault and to apologize for using the racial slur. Others had urged netizens to stop bashing the artist as he had realized his mistake and changed his caption. Let's take this as a lesson and learn to be more careful with our words, especially when we're in the public eye. Now, updated as of 7 p.m, here are the top trending topics and searches on the internet today. Gold lovers from all over Malaysia have been flocking to local jewellery stores in Kuala Terengganu to get their hands on the luxury items which are being sold at great discounts. According to them, prices of gold and jewelleries in the district have dropped between 10 and 20% since late last year. It is understood that the price drop began during the year-end school holiday season and is expected to remain until Chinese New Year in February. Checks by our crew at Kuala Terengganu's iconic Pasar Besar Kedai Payang found that nearly all jewellery stores there were packed with customers. Jewellers say low property rental coupled with a high demand for gold and jewelleries, especially during festive seasons, has enabled them to sell the luxury items at prices much lower than anywhere else.
Harga di sini murah kerana sewa kita sangat murah. Dengan kita bekerja sendiri. Lepas tu murah tu memang murah 10%, lebih daripada 10% daripada negeri luar. Dan ni pun memang diakui dah oleh orang luar sebab ramai customer saya daripada luar, KL, Johor, Melaka.
10 hingga 20% macam.
Sebab apa harga murah?
Dia mungkin kos berbeza dengan kawasan lain. Sini sewa dia murah je, tak macam harga shopping mall lain lah.
Many did not want to miss the golden opportunity to claim their share of the discounted luxury items since news of the gold price drop in Kuala Terengganu became viral.
Kalau ke Kelantan, KL ke kat mana-mana memang murah Terengganu jauh lah. Kalau kira harga gram, berat gram. Kalau raya-raya memang naik lah harga, naik sikit lah. Kalau luar memang naik banyak, kalau Terengganu sikit lah naik.
Kan dari ni kan masuk dalam Facebook kan harga murah, so mak pun nak tengok nak silah harga sebab nak tukar yang baru. Kayaknya harga kat Terengganu ni boleh tahan kot lah daripada kat luar.
Gold 916 is generally priced at between 160 ringgit and 165 ringgit per gram in Kuala Terengganu. In other places, they are sold for 170 ringgit to 200 ringgit per gram. The Teluk Melano Sematan stretch of the Pan-Borneo Highway, which was completed on January 4th, was officially open to the public today. Works Minister Barobian reiterated that the federal government has agreed that there would be no toll collection for the highway, either in Sarawak or Sabah.
Sesungguhnya, pembukaan jajaran Teluk Melano Sematan menzahirkan komitmen tidak berbelah bagi pihak kerajaan dalam menyediakan perkhidmatan pembangunan infra yang seimbang di semua negeri di Malaysia.
The Works Minister also encouraged more qualified Bumiputra contractors and vendors to join the tender for the works related to the project. The overall Pan-Borneo Highway project in Sarawak, spanning over a 33-kilometre land, is expected to be fully completed in June 2021. It involves the construction of 115 bridges, 25 elevated interchanges, 3 rest and service areas, and 6 lay-bys. And up next, after 35 days, US government shutdown finally ends. More after this. Don't touch that dial. Now on to the foreign front. Rescuers worked overnight into Saturday, where they recovered at least 9 bodies and still locating about 300 people after a dam collapse at a mine in Brazil's Minas Gerais. But the local governor said odds are minimal the missing victims would be found alive.
Reports said 427 people had been working at the mine, owned by Vale, at the time of the dam collapse, and 279 were recovered alive. Vale's CEO, Fabio Schwartzman, said it was an inactive dam that was in the process of being decommissioned that burst apart very violently, very suddenly. He added that its contents, which consist of tailings or mining byproducts mixed with water, cascaded into another dam, which overflowed. The massive muddy flow from the collapse barreled towards the nearby town of Brumadinho with a population of 39,000, but did not hit it directly. Families have been told to evacuate homes in low-lying areas. The Brazilian mining giant that was involved in a previous 2015 mine collapse in the same state that claimed 19 lives is regarded as the country's worst ever environmental disaster.
Now, after 2 weeks, Spanish rescuers finally found the dead body of a 2-year-old boy, Julian Rosello, who had fallen into a deep, narrow well in Malaga on Saturday. Rescuers had been working around the clock since January 13 to try to reach the boy who fell into the illegal borehole. However, when the team reached the spot where Julian was at 1:25 a.m., they only found the lifeless body of the child. It was reported that the unprecedented rescue operation was fraught with various difficulties prior to this. The hole, which was 100 meters deep and just 25 centimeters wide, was also blocked with soil, and rescuers believed that it had been dislodged when the victim tumbled into the shaft. To reach the victim, rescuers dug a vertical shaft parallel to the well, 60 meters deep, which was finished late on Monday. The toddler fell after wandering away from his parents, who was walking through a private estate in Totalan. The only evidence of the boy's presence were some strands of hair that matched his DNA and a bag of candy that he had been holding when he fell into the well. The death of Julian dealt a devastating blow to the family, who lost another child, Oliver, aged 3, 2 years ago due to cardiac problems. Now in the US, after 35 torturous days of government shutdown, the longest in the US history that has left over 800,000 federal workers without pay for weeks, President Donald Trump has finally lifted the impasse. The deal, however, includes none of the money that Trump demanded for a US-Mexico border wall. The president said his decision was to take care of the millions of people who are badly hurt by the shutdown, while vowing that if coming negotiations do not satisfy him, the shutdown would resume or a national emergency would be declared. The bill passed the Republican-led Senate and headed to the Democratic-controlled House of Representatives, paving the way for tough talks with lawmakers on how to address security along the US-Mexican border.
We're going to work with the Democrats, we're going to see, and if we can't do that, then we'll do, obviously, we're going to do the emergency, because that's what it is. It's a national emergency. These are Hispanic pastors and reverends and ministers, and they understand better than anybody It's an emergency. It's a humanitarian emergency.
Absolutely.
And we are going to take care of our border. It's going to be done.
The Republican president previously vowed to reject any budget unless it included $5.7 billion to fund his signature campaign pledge. But things took a turn due to several recent events as a result of the shutdown. Delays at major airports on Friday were blamed on staff shortages as air traffic controllers and screening officers who have been working without pay failed to report for duty. Several weeks of no paycheck also has put a dent in the economy, and a further extension of the shutdown could have shaved 2.5% of the quarterly economic growth in Washington alone. In addition to that, wider fears of a policy error were growing as the impasse halted the release of closely watched statistics, including gross domestic product, retail sales and housing starts. It was also believed that food subsidies for low-income families were expected to run out in February. The government cutbacks have also halted fisheries permits and listings on the stock exchange. And now we've reached the end of our bulletin this evening. Before we leave, take a look at this luminous light show at the China Art Festival in Guizhou. With that, I'm Helena Krishnamurthy. Thanks for watching and have a good night.